Hey everyone, welcome to Zeitgeistzealots. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
And I'm Robbie.
Matt.
And I'm Tip.
Today we're going to talk about the third episode of Loki. Was it Lamentus? Lamentus. And basically this was like him and the other Loki got to know each other. Loki likes dudes, apparently. That was the big takeaway. Actually, it wasn't really the big takeaway. The big takeaway from this was really that all the TVA employees are variants from Earth.
Dun dun dun.
No, I was thinking the same.
That's the one. That's the big reveal that actually had something to do with the story. So, they're on this planet. I don't know if it was like an Earth planet in the future or just somewhere else in the galaxy.
Looked like a space mining planet or a moon, I think they said.
Oh, like a space mining colony. Okay. But like 2077, I don't think we would have one of those in that time.
It's very interesting. Yeah. I watched a couple of videos online.
You underestimate Mr. Musk.
Okay. If it was owned by the Tesla moon company. All right. Well, I guess we can just like go around the circle and give our thoughts. So, Major, you want to go first?
Yeah. So again, another really good episode. It's probably, I would say, the weakest of the three. The dialogue was good. You know, the back and forth, the character building, as always, is just fantastic. But you know, with them being stuck, I mean, the action was pretty good. Maybe the weakest of the three isn't the right.
I'd say by far the weakest of the three.
You would say, okay, so I'm not alone there. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what happens next. I mean, they have to be saved by a MacGuffin, right? Because
a Deus Ex Machina,
right? They're not gonna.
By the Silver Surfer.
Oh, don't. That's Forrest. I like the way you think. They never do that, but I don't like the way you think.
What if they're saved by Guardians of the Galaxy? What if they're saved by Old Man Quill?
No, someone's gonna like
not saved at all.
TVA it.
They just die, and like the rest of the series is just them floating in space, dead.
Just 2 episodes.
And Mobius being like, "Where is he? Wow, I think we lost him." Yeah. So, Robbie, what do you think?
Yeah, I liked it, but yeah, I agree that it wasn't the best of the three so far. But I think I'd probably put. I did like the whole intro into the TVA in the first episode. The first episode was probably my favorite so far. It's kind of funny him getting drunk. He kind of acting like Thor when he throws the glass down. He's like, "Oh no!"
Yeah. Oh yeah. It seemed a little out of place. I think they've definitely
still don't know a whole lot about the female Loki yet. Lady Loki.
I think the writer just didn't understand that Loki's supposed to be a villain. He's not supposed to be likable quite yet. I mean, you know, he basically tried to kill every frost giant in Jotunheim. He caused the second 9/11 in New York. And now, like, in the episode, it's like, oh, they're going to let all these people die. And I was like, he wouldn't give a shit. So it's just like it's just the writers just trying to, you know, make him likable. And it's just not believable. I mean, I can understand over time him becoming more, sympathetic, but like he's only been in custody for 2 days. Yeah. And he wasn't even like sympathetic to other people. He was just like, you know, I'll help Thor out, you know, but just to like, cause I want to save Asgard, you know, not because, you know, I want to save the people there, you know.
I'd say there was a small progression.
Right, I just think it's just not believable this early. You know, I think they're just trying to rush it.
No, they definitely rushed it. However, I don't really care because I like this Loki better. And so, you know, maybe you do some suspension of disbelief and you let the home videos that he saw in the first episode kind of take him to where he needs to be, where he left off as the other Loki, a more compassionate, caring Loki. That's the Loki I like. I totally agree with what you're saying.
I like the villainous Loki.
He seems to be just kind of going with the flow, trying to see if he can get out of there, or maybe meet with the timekeepers.
If they exist. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I've been wondering that.
You know me, I hate exposition dumps, but I think this is the best way Marvel so far and Disney have done an exposition dump. It was done so much better than the previous shows we talked about. Where I was actually still into it. The biggest thing I disliked was the action scenes are atrocious.
Oh yeah,
especially for two godlike beings getting beat up.
Oh my god, their fight at the end was
It's
a little
a
bad.
joke. I do have a few theories on how they get out of that, which we'll get into later. But I'm convinced that female Loki isn't actually female Loki, but the Enchantress who got her powers from female Loki.
Oh.
And Sylvie is the name of the Enchantress, who's part of the Young Avengers, which Marvel is definitely going to be doing here pretty soon.
So you think she stole her powers and her name, or that's is the same character as in the comics?
I think she's really the Enchantress. She's not a female Loki.
Okay.
And that's going to be
In the
like a twist at the
In
end.
the credits, I believe they only name her they don't name her female Loki. They label her variant.
Yep.
Or Sylvie in this episode, I think.
Yep.
What else? Yeah, well, I don't think she's like the original Enchantress in the comics, like Amora. I think so. This is like a newer version. And I think Feige is definitely more focused on adapting newer stuff than older stuff. So it doesn't surprise me. Tip, what did you think?
I think it was only not as good as the other ones because it was 10 minutes shorter. If they added like a 10-minute, bit at the end that had really, shocked the audience. Although it was a good cliffhanger. There's a
Like what now?
sense of imminent doom, which is kind of a fun situation. It's been a good series, and about Loki being cast as kind of like a more heroic. I mean, I still think there's like he's still working for his best interest at all times. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. I don't know.
The god of mischief.
Right.
Yeah,
That's what
dude. I mean,
was
that's his character. I mean, he's supposed to like
Do mischievous things.
FSU. So
Yeah.
So
I mean,
speaking of being fooled, there's a couple popular theories floating around online that in the beginning when Sylvie touches Loki on the neck and you see like the green pulses come out of her hand, that the rest of it is just a mind game for her and Loki. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. That's definitely one of my theories. Whether he's running it or she's running it is up for interpretation. But I think the whole episode was him actually controlling her to see how far he can trust her in his scheming. And that's why he's being cast very heroically. And next episode, they're literally just going to pop out and be like, "Oh, I was controlling you the whole time."
Yeah, they were in the TVA. Maybe not TVA.
Do you
Maybe
think the whole imminent doom stuff is just like ever since they connected right there or something?
Well, I think it's what's actually going on in the background is happening, but they're going to pop back to when they first jumped in, and he's going to have the machine there to open a gate, and they're like, "Okay, I can trust you. Let's go do this."
I like that. I like that a lot more than Owen Wilson popping up with the time gate and just saving them at the last second. I like that theory a lot more.
with Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn. They're always together. They're better. They're stronger together than apart. What did you think of the watershed LGBTQ moment in this episode? The internet's going crazy over.
Seemed like a no-brainer in hindsight. Like it's Loki.
I mean,
of course.
Well, it's
Why
like
not?
he's just had no romantic attachments in any of the movies. I mean, I get like, I mean, he must do some,
he's
stuff on the side.
He's 1,500 years old or something like that. We've only seen him over the last 10 years canonically.
Yeah,
10 or 12.
Kind of seen it all by then.
he's seen a few. He's seen every shape, every size.
1,500 years.
1,500 years worth.
I honestly don't get the huge uproar about it. Like you're watching
angry?
a TV show. Angry.
Man,
There's
that's
this
just our
angry backlash.
days.
Well,
Everything's an uproar.
There's no uproar from me, I'll tell you
I think
that.
it was maybe just like people were like, I think Marvel, or maybe not Marvel, but some people were like patting them on the back, and I was just like, sort of like, I didn't really think it was a watershed moment. Just it was like a throwaway line that didn't really have anything to do with the story.
Exactly.
I mean, if they gave him like an
Perfect
actual
moment.
like male love interest and a female love interest, then yeah, it would probably be relevant. But I don't know. It just seemed like sort of just like a lazy throwaway line.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Counter argument, it's a step
what was the
forward
line?
in the right. it's a step forward in the right direction.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's what people are, saying. Like, I mean, at the very least, then yeah. But
I mean, you have to remember, it's not just Marvel; it's Disney's Marvel.
Yep.
And the line tip was, I bet you've seen a couple princesses in your day, maybe a few princes. And then Loki said a little bit of both or something, roughly paraphrasing.
He banged Prince, the artist
Still
formerly known as Prince.
Still got Mickey behind the curtain of everything.
He's like,
Exactly.
you better keep it shut. You better keep it, better keep it subtle.
As,
like
That was
the
a pretty
Mickey
good
in South
impression.
Park.
Oh yeah.
as a funny note, I heard this really great fan theory that the postman that she dated was actually Stan Lee's character from one of the cameos he had in the past.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, the
He's a
Fantastic
FedEx.
Four.
Yep.
Tony Stank. Package for Tony Stank.
Well, no,
No.
He was literally the postman in I think Willy Lumpkins
This is Tony Tank.
and the Fantastic Four movies,
Mm-hmm.
or
Oh,
the first one,
Yep. And then
is
he was
there
a
a
FedEx.
connection to the Fantastic Four universe?
and they made him a postman in Civil War.
So I thought that was kind of a funny throwaway because the fans were laughing about that. That she dated Stan Lee.
Or maybe she's dating Garfield's postman, who he terrorizes. I don't know either. Who are some other famous postmen? Kevin Costner.
Maybe the one from WandaVision?
Oh yeah.
The guy that we
Because
never
remember,
found out
Loki, I
about.
think it was supposed to come first.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have a lot to say about this episode. I wasn't really too enthused about it. I didn't hate it. I just, wasn't. I didn't find it nearly as good as the first two, and I was just sort of like,
Loving the series though.
Yeah, the series is phenomenal. But, it's only going to be 6 episodes, so you had to have one of these episodes where you had to get as much background crammed in as quickly as possible.
Did we really learn that much about Sylvie? We just know she can enchant people. We know that she goes in their mind and creates. If they have a stronger mind, she has to create a scenario where she has to build their trust. But we really don't know anything about her background or history or why she's doing Detective TVA.
We know that she doesn't know who her mom is. That her variant world, she knew she was adopted right away, and that kind of sets who she is. Kind of more of her backstory that was fleshed out in the train conversation.
Where Loki grew up with a nice mom.
Yep.
That kind of gave him a little bit of his good side.
So.
And why he kind of likes to talk out of situations instead of fight his way through situations.
Mm-hmm.
Talk.
Yeah, I thought you didn't like to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So strange there was no Owen Wilson. It had the Renslayer chicken for a second.
Man, I thought that was going to be such a good fight scene. I was super excited to see that happen, and then nothing.
We're hedging your expectations.
Hey, when he grabbed that big pillar, has that always been one of Loki's things?
So here's another one of my theories.
He grabbed his pillar?
that when they were that last little scene run into the ship.
Here's
You're talking about
there's that piece of building, whatever it was, started falling on him.
Do you remember in episode 1 how he grabs a bunch of the Infinity Stones from his box?
Yeah.
He grabs the time stone and pretends to chuck it back in. So I'm partially convinced that he has the time stone, and he's just going along with this, just as part of his scheme. And maybe the way they start next episode is he shows he has a time stone, goes back before he breaks the thing. Because I've never seen that as his power. I know in the comic books he does kind of have that power, but the fact that the building reversed
all those
back,
stones are still
reverse
Infinity
exactly
Stones.
When you take them out,
when he leaves the TVA, he's got real Infinity Stones.
But the problem with that is they would have to go to the exact universe where that stone was viable in, which is possible.
You think so, or would they work just anywhere outside the TVA?
Well,
I think they're.
In Endgame, they talked about it. They only work in their own universes. That's why they don't work at the TVA. Is because they're taken out of their elemental zone.
That's a good point.
They have no power.
I don't know. We'll see. I think
not saying that Loki's not clever enough to go to that specific location. Which, by the way, Lamentus is a little on Lenotus. A little on the nose. Right, they were lamenting the whole episode.
Lamenting or mentis means mind in Latin.
Oh, and then so
in the mind,
Le Mind or the female Le Mind. So the female mind, Sylvie. Connections, who knows?
Yeah.
Dun dun dun. Sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
take this tinfoil hat off. It's getting a little hot in here.
All right, predictions for next episode.
Well,
prediction?
I walked into this podcast thinking it was going to be Owen Wilson showing up to save the day at the last second, but now I'm a really big fan of Matt's theory, and I hope it's just all been Loki's illusion on Sylvie. That'd be nice.
So that's what you were gonna do in Imminent Doom.
That's how you get to know somebody, you know.
Yeah,
in a
see what
life or
they
death
really
situation, you'll see who the real person is.
I just know they're gonna get off Lamentus somehow. Hopefully they figure it out themselves, and there's not a Deus Ex Machina. And hopefully they'll get back to. Hopefully we'll see the other Lokis too.
Rick and Morty.
Oh, do you
Remember
think
he
they get
goes through that
saved by a
portal?
bunch of Ricks, by a bunch of
Let me
Lokis?
Deus Machina this.
Oh yeah. Good segue. Let's talk about Bad Batch. So this episode.
Yeah, not knocked it out of order.
This was, the follow up to Omega got kidnapped by Cad Bane.
Cad Bane?
And then she escaped because Cad Bane's robot stupid, and voiced by Seth Green, who voices Chris Griffin. So at least it's
One thing that I thought was funny, her Omega trying to open all those lockers when she's trying to find her communicator.
Yeah.
And like she's pressing all the buttons, but what finally works is she grabs a screwdriver and just jams it in there, and it opens all the doors.
Oh, I think I was paying attention during that part, but
Screwdriver.
Fennec Shand came back. That was cool, and she was hired by the other Kaminoan because she doesn't want Omega killed. Kaminoan. And she doesn't want Omega killed, and
as long as she's safe, like a real mother.
Yep. So the Prime Minister. Do you think Cad Bane's going to come back, or do you think he's done for the series?
That's a good question.
You think he's
it
still
seemed
going
like
to
he'd be back, right? It felt like an I'll be back kind of situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's just like
probably season finale.
Yeah.
Calling it here.
I'm interested to see. I'm not really sure where they're going to go from here. I guess they're going to go back to Sid next episode and have a new job. I'm sure like next episode is going to be like another filler episode.
The Monster of the Week.
Where they just do another, a job for what's her face, Sid, and there might be some more exposition with Crosshair and Admiral Rampart. We haven't seen him in a while. But yeah, I really don't know. It was an okay episode. I thought.
Yeah, they throw more details about Omega out there.
Yeah,
right? How about that? She's not a force sensitive clone. Didn't see that coming.
Just
I
first
did.
generation.
You go back to one of the podcasts where we talked about in the first episode.
So,
I thought she was a female Jango Fett because of the Kiwi accent.
I thought it was interesting. Alpha, so he was the first clone and she's the last clone. So I thought that was interesting.
It rhymes like poetry.
Yeah. So I wonder, do you think Boba Fett will have a cameo this season?
Yeah,
he has.
That would be cool.
Because he would be like a teenager now? Because he was like 12 in Attack of the Clones. By Revenge of the Sith, he'd be like maybe like 15 or 16. So he'd still be young.
Yeah, he doesn't age like the other clones. He doesn't have that rapid aging effect.
But it's funny because like in the Mandalorian, he looks older than Fennec Shand. I mean, she's Asian, so she could be a lot older. But
so what's their relationship?
I would
the way they were explaining it, that it was her relationship with Boba.
Basically, I think he rescued her on
person.
Tatooine.
Yeah, aren't they
genetically the same person? But
they're the first generation.
They're pure clones, while the other clones are bred to age faster and to take commands and to be soldiers. These are just like regular human being clones, who have his specific genetic material that they need for, as a bargaining chip for the Empire. So, what do you think, Matt?
I actually didn't watch this episode, But you know what? I have to say this. I loved the series at first, but around episode 4, I don't know what they just feel like they drag on. And then I went to go watch one episode the other night and realized I was like 2 or 3 behind.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow, I didn't realize we were already, episode 9, I think.
Yeah, they're on 9 now.
Yeah. And so I got up to 8, but I don't know. My interest is quickly waning in this show. I'm hoping
I
something
would
good
agree.
happens.
Mission
Mission of the week,
Yeah, I really like. I think my favorite character is like Tech, just because like last episode, Omega was asking him like, "What's war like?" and he says like, "Just proxy battles scattered throughout the universe." And he's not like telling how he feels about war; he's just giving a definition of war. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, even though he is human, he still thinks like a computer, and he doesn't really. They're not really really like designed to like have feelings about that sort of thing. So it really shows how she's different from even the Bad Batch, and she's like more human than they are.
Yeah, I think the character development and overall writing is good on the show. But like Matt's 100% spot on. I was really excited about this show. That started off with a banger. The next couple episodes were good, but no, probably around episode 4, my interest really started to dwell.
They start to feel the same with like a little bit sprinkled in there.
Right.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely just need to shake things up next season. Like, I think doing jobs for Sid just really isn't that interesting. They might need to, and they're so limited in what they can do because they have to respect the continuity and the canon, and so they're sort of limited. What adventures they decide to take, but there'll probably be more cameos this season. But cameos doesn't equal good storytelling. Unfortunately,
just sprinkling in the stuff for the nerds who actually like Star Wars is not a way to make an episode or keep my interest. It's like, it's Ord Mantell, and that
make a good show.
Yeah, that's mentioned in the Empire. Like,
yeah,
it's frustrating.
I mean,
I wanted to like the show.
Yeah, and I'll still keep up with it because it's not bad. I too kind of see where it's going, and hopefully they'll shake some things up. But yeah, I guess if you want to talk about, I don't know, do you have any predictions for next week, Bad Batch? I assume it'll probably like another standalone.
Probably on my phone. That's my prediction. I will probably spend the rest of the episode on my phone.
Yeah. All right. I imagine. Yeah, it'll probably be another filler episode with Sid doing, "Hey, do this."
I'll give you more information.
What'd you say to me?
Yeah. He's like, "Hey, you want to like not be a bitch? We're trying to do something for you."
I need some credits.
So, anyway, all right, we can talk about Rick and Morty. So this was the episode with Mr. Nimbus, who I guess is like their version of Namor or Aquaman.
He controls the police.
He controls the police somehow.
Yeah.
So
it's not that hard.
Oh, he was voiced by Dan Harmon, which that was interesting. Who was the co-creator? So I'm wondering if there's like, because I know there's been some off behind the scenes drama between him and Justin Roiland. I thought that was interesting. His arch enemy of Rick, the guy who voices Rick, Justin Roiland, is the guy who co-created the show. And I guess they butt heads, so it was like funny, like, haha.
What's going on behind the scenes? I don't
know. Apparently, I think when something gets just so successful, I think two guys like wanted to go in a certain way, and like one guy might have a different opinion than the other, and I think they're both probably just very opinionated. Like Dan Harmon's like probably the better writer, but Justin Roiland's like, well, I came up with the concept, so. But I think
maybe that's why that makes it even better of them being nemesis.
Yeah, maybe that was like a little like inside joke.
Yeah, but they do seem to like Easter eggs, and I love that.
But I think the idea is like this is like such a successful show. Like we can fight, but we're not going to like compromise. We're not going to compromise the show like existing, because of our ego trips. So
I think part of it too is Harmon. Most of his work is making a joke about commercializing your product, and Rick and Morty is like you can just buy everything for Rick and Morty now. I know that's Dan Harmon's gotten really upset about. He's like, we're mocking this, and this is what it's becoming. Yeah. The fact that you can buy, everything Rick and Morty at this point.
Reminds me of the train episode at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah, that train episode. There's so many Easter eggs in that train episode. Have you watched those?
The 1960s. Mm-hmm. The market picked up on that, and then they're like, we can sell the tar out of some tie-dye.
Yeah, it's just like and it's just like the V for Vendetta mask they sold during Occupy Wall Street. Like Time Warner made probably a boatload selling those masks that were meant to stand up to corporate corruption.
Yeah, with the unchecked capitalism. You remember in Community, that's like what he's mocking, throughout like season 3 and 4.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really care about the Mr. Nimbus stuff. I didn't think that was very funny, but I did like the why did they go to Narnia? I don't know why Rick had to store his wine there. Was that ever explained?
It was all about the wine.
Yeah, he was aging the wine.
Because every time you go, basically time just goes faster on the other side of that portal. That's why just years and years have passed every time he went back in.
Yeah, we saw
he came in to help him bring the wine through the portal. But when he came back, I don't know how many years have passed, and his son has gone crazy.
Well, I got that time passed while they were there, but I understand why they couldn't just keep the wine in the house.
Oh, because Mr. Nimbus likes fine aged wine, and so they were just aging the wine. Rick
he said he wanted some 300-year-old wine in a very short amount of time.
Oh,
I was really looking forward to Morty and Jessica shipping finally.
Well, they kissed, so I think that's the best.
Well, yeah, but she is definitely not. If they're going to keep the same character progression,
what's going to happen to him now?
Yeah,
what happened to her?
Well, it's probably for the best. He just likes her because he's attracted to her. They don't really have anything in common. I don't feel, and that's not probably the best reason to pursue a relationship.
I agree, but it's high school, so
yeah,
she saved his life in a way.
What do you guys think about the overall episode?
I was also thinking, was she just using him to get wine?
I mean, yeah,
I did think that too. It seemed like that.
It reminds me of high school.
Yeah.
So how about that wine?
Kept
asking that. Did you get the wine?
So,
oh man,
I did like that
the wine.
Yeah, but I did like that aspect of the show. The Bulldogs, and like the Game of Thrones, they just get more advanced technology every time he goes back. So
yeah,
I think it was made Rick and Morty fans happy. But yeah, it's kind of one of the shows you don't really know what to expect next. You can't really predict what's going to happen next. But I guess Jerry's by 2 now, so we have 2 by out of the closet revelations for our shows this week. Loki and Jerry.
Sounds like life.
Even though they're trying to, improve their marriage or whatever. But I was
like to point out 3 with Sylvie also admitting that. Can't forget her.
They also admitted in the little after credits thing that apparently they were kind of doing it for the other person, but when they find out they were both doing that, they were about to dip out, and then Nimbus opens the door.
Yeah, they always come crawling back to Nimbus.
Yep. Do you think we'll see him again this season?
No.
I think you might.
So, I mean,
new one tonight.
Oh, that's right.
I'll watch tomorrow.
I wonder if it'll be on YouTube.
Gosh, I hope so.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's not on HBO Max. That blows my mind.
It'll be
your game of later. HBO Max. Yeah, it'll be on probably Hulu too or something. I don't know.
There's probably some contract stuff with cable. You can only show on cable.
I got YouTube TV recording it for me.
I've got
I do have regular cable I can record it on.
I actually do pay for cable that never
there is cable.
I always forget I have a cable box.
I think we're on the East Coast. What time is it?
11 p.m.
11 p.m. Okay.
11 p.m.
Yep.
Yeah, on Cartoon Network.
Matt, did you watch it? You watched it, right, Matt? What did you think?
It's funny
because you're the newest Rick and Morty fan, aren't you?
Yeah, you guys compared to me, and I plowed through all the way just so I could get caught up for this, and I literally just finished season 4 last week. First off, the snake episode's the best episode I've ever seen in comedy. But I will say, I've really fallen in love with the show, but I say this is the weakest first episode of a season so far from what I've seen. And then 2, it was a bit predictable because the second the guy came out to help him bring the wine out, I'm like, he's going to go back and his family is going to be aged or dead or something. Yeah. And it was just I see where this is going right away. So it's kind of frustrated that overall, I think the episode's really good. And, I love this show now, so I hate to say it, but yeah.
No, man, I think you're spot on with your analysis again. I remember the exact place I was sitting when I watched the first episode of last season, because there was a big hiatus between seasons like 3 and 4, and there was all the contract disputes, and will we get Rick and Morty? Will we not get Rick and Morty? When's the next season coming out? And I remember watching like the first episode on my phone and just being like, "Holy shit, Rick and Morty! If you need to take a year to make this episode every single time, like, I'll be here. I'll be patient for it." I agree that this was definitely the weakest season premiere so far.
I mean, especially with
still
the
great,
cliffhanger
still
too.
super Rick and Morty. Still loved it. Watched it 3 times, but I would agree it's probably the weakest one.
Well, season 4 ends with a cliffhanger of, is it clone Beth or real Beth? And then they don't answer that at all. They're kind of just not going to address that, which I think is hilarious. But they didn't even discuss that at all. Whereas every opening
to show you
episode,
he doesn't even know. He did that on purpose too, to mix them up.
But every open episode always calls back to the last episode of last season, even if it's just a throwaway, quick thing.
A quick one-liner.
Yeah.
You're right. What if this isn't our Rick?
I think it blew everyone's mind.
If it's not C-137 Rick, they're just jumping to different
we're just watching different Rick. Because we've seen that happen before.
There's
where
so many different
we
Ricks.
spend an episode with a different Rick.
Or the VAT episode, the VAT acid episode at the very end.
I just watched
he
that.
thought he was
it's such
talking
a good
to
episode.
the C-137 Rick, but it wasn't. He was like, he's just here to... He's like, all right, it's time to go back, or what? Or wait, no, I think it was Rick, but they were in a different dimension.
They're in a different
he didn't want to mess up. He didn't want to
because every Rick has
dimension.
a bat. Every Rick has a bat.
Yeah, I think some of my favorites was that whole multiple timeline, or like you have to be certain of certain things. Remember, every time they're gonna change their mind or creates another split.
Yeah, and there's
start seeing all those different splits.
That's old school. Yeah, that's one season 1 or season 2.
Was it that long ago now?
It was season 2.
Yeah, it was such a good episode. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Or she had that imaginary land. What was that called?
Frugal Land.
Fruity
Frugal
Land.
Pop.
Yeah, Fruity Land.
Yeah, and had Tommy in there who was kind of surviving by just humping everything.
What a dark and twisted episode.
Eating them. That was such a weird episode, but
that and the dragon dildos. I know they like to cross over the edge or whatever, and they're all great episodes.
Oh my god, that was crazy episode.
Right? Oh, you've come out of the masturbation chamber after 180 years.
Oh yeah, he's like,
and
I just
staff is it's like a sex
toy. You notice it kind of wiggle when he comes down the ramp.
It's too much. It's too much, Dan Harmon.
This is why I was hesitant to talk about Rick and Morty. I knew it would just take over the whole show.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it's the best.
Hey, I sit in the background a lot more on other stuff, but Rick and Morty I like talking about.
I fucking love Rick and Morty.
I can sort of remember these episodes, but yeah, it's
well, that's because you're watching it right, Forrest.
Yeah, I'm watching all the time.
No, I would say I love Rick and Morty, not enough to yell at a McDonald's fast food worker because they ran out of Szechuan sauce. But
is that what did people on TikTok record themselves doing that?
Or I guess just people recording in general. I don't think TikTok was that big back in the day.
People doing stupid stuff to try.
But yeah, Rick and Morty has a vast and volatile fan base.
Horrible fan base.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like it usually.
That's not who I relate with.
It's Venture Brothers. They're a lot more laid back.
I'm not one of those either.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I think Venture Brothers is very similar. There's a long hiatus between seasons, and they went for 7 seasons, and that's I think 16 years or 17 years total, and it's really hard to maintain an audience for that long. But and there's so much continuity with Venture Brothers too that it's you really do have to go back and rewatch some stuff. I don't think that's necessarily the case with Rick and Morty, so I do like that aspect of it. So you can pretty much watch any episode of Rick and Morty.
Right.
There's very little
on an episode.
Yeah. Although I'll argue that because I think Seinfeld, at least season 7, and has a very, very strong continuity because they do a lot of callbacks to earlier episodes in the season later on. I think Kramer's
episode.
Kramer's
you get the callbacks anyway.
Coffee lawsuit, they mentioned that several times in the season. So I think season 7 of Seinfeld is, and obviously it's the Susan Ross, he's about to marry her. So I think that's definitely, an important season to watch in order. I think it's more
Well,
enjoyable.
they took it off of Hulu, so I guess we'll never find out.
Well, I think they bring it back on Netflix, but like in September. So like we're just gonna go 2 months without. What's the deal with New England? It's not England. And it's over 200 years old. And last time I checked, that's not that old.
Boris, what's the deal with Loki? I want to hear that off the cusp.
What's the deal with Loki? He likes boys. He likes girls. He likes horses.
All right, just because Seinfeld came out in the '90s doesn't mean you have to go to '90s humor. I was expecting a little bit more highbrow than that. Just going for the low hanging fruit.
What's the deal with Asgard?
Womp womp.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
to go on a quick rant, really quick. I finally got HBO Max.
Yay!
And I got the ad version for $10, and it is atrocious.
Really?
Oh yeah,
the-
it's so annoying.
Well, the ads, it's only on certain movies,
Give
not the
you a
newer
lot.
one.
Yeah.
But it's not even the ads that bugged me. Well, they kind of did. I watched Desperado, and there was 10 ad breaks in a 1.5 hour long movie.
Wow.
It was
10?
ridiculous. But
God.
so I downloaded HBO Max on my Roku, and the user interface is atrocious, and it kept crashing whenever I would search for anything. And I think after this month, I'm just gonna give it up because it is the worst.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is why you're losing to Disney, Time Warner.
Seriously,
Well,
the app is
Step your
bad.
game up. Yeah.
I don't have Roku. I have HBO Max on my phone, or I do have it on my phone, but I have it on my smart TV, my Sony, and I use Google Play. But I haven't had any issues, at least notable issues about it crashing or like the user interface.
It freezes all the time. Like I went to my brother's house and put on his TV, and it was fine. But on the Roku, it was just
Yeah, it sounds
I
like
don't
a
know.
Roku issue, which really does suck.
yeah.
Is there anything else big on HBO that's worth watching? Otherwise, I'm thinking of just canceling mine.
Have you seen Euphoria?
Sopranos.
You can fast through the Euphoria. That's worth it, probably.
I
might-
got it because I wanted to see The Little Things, which is the movie with Jared Leto, Denzel Washington, and Rami Malek. And I
Why?
will say it is one of the most atrocious movies I've ever
Yeah.
seen. I know I keep using that word, but it's the word of the day.
The shittle
it was
thing.
bad.
What's kind of the summary of Euphoria?
Oh, it's a bunch of high school kids doing drugs.
Oh,
Yeah,
Basically
if you want to ever feel old, just watch Euphoria and be like, wait, is this what they do in high school now? It is
Maybe just like
atrocious.
These
watching
kids
high school
today.
kids.
what's the deal? with kids
What's the
today?
deal with high schoolers?
Doing drugs, vaping. Getting the popcorn?
Matt, to steal a popular phrase, I need your help, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope. I need you to watch Golden Compass and tell me if it's worth it, because I cannot make myself click on that show. It looks good. I've heard great reviews about it, but I can't
Golden
make myself
Compass?
watch it. Golden
Right.
Compass on HBO Max.
Is it like the book Golden Compass? Or
Yes, I believe so. There might be a polar bear, but I've also been watching season 1 of Lost, so I might be getting those confused.
Oh, how you liking that so far?
Well, we are
How far have you gotten?
we are on episode 21 right now. I think last
Damn.
week we were on episode 4 or 5.
How long
So-
are their episodes again?
43 minutes, an hour-long TV show. The first season's 25 episodes, with the season finale being a 3-parter. We just discovered the spoiler alerts ahead, the hatch, and the numbers. You remember the numbers, Rob?
4, 8, 15, 16,
Major.
Wait a minute.
23, 42.
Yeah, wait. Go ahead, Tip.
Rob.
Major,
So-
did you just give a spoiler alert for Lost?
Yeah, in case no one's ever seen Lost before.
And by the way,
I
you
still
said-
got those numbers. They
you said it was
repeat
like
them
a
so damn
three-parter?
much.
Right? They're here so
And
damn
how
much.
long has it been since I watched the show? I still got
10,
those
15
numbers.
years. Yeah, 2004, 2005.
I rewatched
yeah.
it at some point when I was in Colombia, but
And,
it's still
said-
been
You said the
few
finale.
years.
You said the finale is a 3-parter, but like the whole season's a 22-parter. You know, it's all connected.
Right? Yeah.
It's all the same story. But
I just can't wait. She doesn't even know like what's in store for her. But Locke was just slamming on the pounding on the hatch, and then it's it's nighttime, and then the iconic lights show up.
just tell her season
such a good
4.
episode.
Just tell her when season
Oh,
4
yeah.
comes around. Just lower her expectations significantly.
I'll have to explain the writer's strike to her, and then make her watch Heroes season 1 and 2, so she can see just how detrimental the writer's strike was
And
to
Prison
television.
Break and Prison Break season 3 because it was only half a season.
Oh, I've heard.
Oh yeah,
actually,
I remember Prison Break started off really good, and then
I heard like the
died.
first season was excellent, but I've never seen it.
Second and third are really good too. It's just like the third one's just really short because the
The
writer's strike. It's like in a much worse prison though. And season 2, that's when they're on the run. Spoiler.
Oh,
Season, but it's still in.
They break out of prison. I see.
Well, yeah.
Now there's no
The
point watching
first-
season 1.
The season 1 finale is amazing though. It's just like, you're pretty much like on the edge of your seat the entire time. And it's all been building to this one moment. So,
Would you rank this above any season of 24 or below any?
Prison Break?
Yeah. Would you
I'd
it's better
say
than
I'd say
24?
season 1 is better than the last 3 seasons of 24, like 6, 7, and 8, which basically like they were just reusing the same plot lines. I mean, season 7, 24 was interesting because it was like in DC. It was the first season not in LA, so it was like sort of a breath of fresh air. And I think they're taking on like African mercenaries. So that was like a new like country for him to fight because it was always like either Russian or Middle Eastern terrorists he was fighting. So,
Interesting.
but the first 5 seasons of 24 get exponentially better. And I think Prison
Your
Break
own
might be better.
personal IMDb, everybody. Forced.
Yeah. Well,
This is where I go to for all my
I can't
IMDb
really rank
questions.
Lost because I think I always only watched it intermittently throughout its entire run. But I don't know. I really like 24 a lot because like if you like the spy genre or just like Mission Impossible
Good
or James
television.
Bond.
Yeah.
So
Well, does anyone have anything else to talk about? I have one last thing. No one else is doing anything.
my battery's at 10%. So yeah, let's.
Oh yeah, you're
Try
doing
to
this
wrap
on
this
your
up because
phone.
otherwise this will be all for naught if my battery dies before I finish recording.
Oh, what do you
So-
have, an iPhone? Sounds like
Well,
it.
I didn't charge it until last night. So
Dang.
I got your back, Steve Jobs. You got your back. So all right.
Has
what's
anyone
your
here
last-
played Rocket League?
Yeah.
It's kind of the fucking best. It is.
Yeah, I haven't seen your Snapchats.
Yeah, I'm having so much fun. I haven't had this much fun playing a video game since Halo 3. I don't know. It's been a blast. It's really the learning curve is stupid. It is shit. Matt, what's your word of the day?
Atrocious.
I'm gonna butt in. We really do we gotta wrap this up. So
Oh, well, I guess you'll have to tune in next time to hear me talk more about Rocket League.
Yep. All right. I'm Forrest.
I'm Major.
No, I'm Robbie.
Matt.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.